I want to tell you a story that still sits heavy in my chest, one that changed the man I am. This isn't just about a slap, it's about pride, betrayal, heartbreak, and clawing your way back when life tries to bury you. My name's Parker, and what I lived through, I wouldn't wish on anyone. But maybe, just maybe, someone out there needs to hear it. There's something about being humiliated in front of the people who know you best that burns deeper than any physical wound. That slap, whether it landed or not, hit something inside me I didn't even know was vulnerable. It struck at the core of who I was, a man, a husband, a father. And when you don't strike back, when you choose silence over chaos, people start seeing you differently, weak, soft, a shell of a man. That perception, once it takes hold, is almost impossible to shake off. I was dangerously close to being branded that way, but I didn't just stand there and take it. Not forever. Let's go back. 6 years ago, I married Naomi. I was 28. She was 25, young, in love, and damn near inseparable. We were the kind of couple who believed we were built for forever. The way she looked at me on our wedding day, I still remember it like I was the only man on earth who could make her feel safe and seen. Not long after, she got pregnant. It wasn't planned, but it felt like fate. We embraced it, scared and excited. When our son was born, she decided to stay home. For 2 full years, she poured every ounce of her being into being a mother, and I respected her for it. I provided, held down a solid corporate job. We weren't rich, but we were happy, comfortable, dreaming of the next steps, a bigger house, maybe a second child. Life felt full. When our boy turned 2, Naomi told me she wanted to go back to work. She had a teaching degree and quickly found a job she loved. I supported her all the way. I knew she needed more than motherhood. She needed identity, purpose, connection, and with both of us working again, life got even better. We were a team, at least. That's what I thought. Then came the collapse. My company got bought out. At first, we were told it meant new opportunities. Instead, it meant downsizing, layoffs, and just like that, I was let go. No warning, no mercy. I had always shown up, worked hard, done things by the book, but I was expendable. That stung more than I let on. I kept it together for my wife, my son, myself. I sent out applications like clockwork. Nothing. Bills kept stacking up. So I signed up for rideshare gigs, from boardrooms to back seats, just to keep the lights on. Then I tried e-commerce. I studied. I launched an online store. I followed every expert on the internet. Everything flopped. Every dime I invested evaporated. The hits just kept coming. I started losing more than money. I lost faith in myself. I felt small, powerless, and that's when things between Naomi and me began to crack. She was patient at first, but that patience wore thin. Her words became knives. She never outright blamed me, but her tone said enough. The respect between us eroded like rust eating through steel. Our conversations became robotic. Schedules, bills, our son. That was it. The laughter vanished. The warmth turned cold. But our boy, he kept me grounded. His smile, his hugs, the way he looked up to me like I was still his hero. That was my lifeline. But Naomi, she began to drift, staying out late, unexplained absences. And when I asked where she was, she'd snap. Why do you care? I told myself it was just a phase, that we'd get through it. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. I just didn't want to face it. Until one day, I was forced to. My car broke down. I walked home that afternoon, exhausted and broke. The house was silent. Our son was still at school. I sat in the kitchen, going over the math in my head, trying to figure out how to survive the next week. Then I heard a car in the driveway. I peeked through the blinds and saw her step out of a silver sedan. A man was behind the wheel. I didn't recognize him. She walked to the door, then turned and pulled him in for a kiss, a long one. He said, "Be a good girl," and drove off. That image burned itself into me. She walked in, saw me watching, and froze. She knew. She didn't even deny it. I asked, "How long has this been going on?" She rolled her eyes, scoffed, deflected. I asked again, calm but clear, "How long have you been cheating on me?" Still no denial, just venom. She spun it around. Accused me of being controlling, of suffocating her. I didn't yell, I didn't argue. I just walked to our bedroom, closed the door, and stared at the ceiling for what felt like hours. From that day on, there were no more illusions. She stopped pretending. She made it clear she was done. Her independence was all that mattered now. And she knew she had the leverage, the job, the money, and worst of all, our son. She didn't threaten divorce. She didn't need to. Her silence screamed it. She assumed I'd roll over, that I'd stay quiet. For a while, she was right. Until I couldn't anymore. I reached my breaking point. I called a divorce attorney, told him everything, the betrayal, the humiliation, the fear of losing my son. He listened carefully and gave me advice that changed the game. File first, and do it in Tennessee. Turns out, Tennessee is a fault-based divorce state. Adultery matters there. It can shift everything: custody, assets, the outcome. Suddenly, I wasn't powerless. I gave him the green light, and that's when things changed. While Naomi continued living like I was invisible, I was documenting everything. I kept records, messages, voicemails, every insult, every moment of neglect. Quietly, I filed for divorce and requested custody. This wasn't revenge. It was protection. My son deserved better than the mess she brought into his life. One afternoon, I saw it again. Another man's car in our driveway. She stepped out like she owned the world. The man lingered. Watching me, I stepped out onto the porch, calm but steady, and told her she was crossing a line, bringing strangers into our son's life. She laughed, brushing me off. Then he opened his mouth. "Won't be your house much longer once she divorces you," he said. Something in me snapped. I told him exactly what he was: a homewrecker. I reminded him that no real man sneaks around with another man's wife and brags about it. That must have struck a nerve. He raised his hand. "Big mistake." I caught his wrist and twisted until he dropped like a stone. Screaming, Naomi shrieked at me like I was the villain. She called the paramedics, looked at me like a monster. But I didn't care. I was done being the silent one. I told her the marriage was finished. That night, she left, and she never came back. The next morning, I packed what little I needed, took my son, and we drove to Tennessee to my childhood home. My parents welcomed us like lost sons. That night, I slept like a man finally freed. In the morning, my phone had 89 missed calls, all from Naomi. I didn't answer a single one, but I wasn't finished yet. I filed a civil suit against the man she cheated with. Tennessee law allows you to sue for alienation of affection. If someone interferes with your marriage, I had the evidence. He thought it was a joke until the paperwork hit him. The custody battle was vicious. Naomi pulled out every lie she could find, tried to paint me as a distant, broken man. But I had truth on my side. Documents, messages, a paper trail of everything she'd done. In the end, the court gave me temporary custody while we worked through the details. For the first time in years, I could breathe. Back home, surrounded by family. My son thrived. I wasn't walking on eggshells anymore. I was healing. I was eating, sleeping, thinking clearly. I was becoming the man I used to be, the man my son deserves to look up to. So if you're out there, feeling broken, feeling small, like life has knocked the wind out of you, listen to me. You're not weak for hurting. You're not wrong for standing your ground. And you're not lost just because someone else stopped loving you. Keep your head up. Protect your peace. Hold on to your dignity like your life depends on it, because sometimes it does. And if you've walked this road, 2, share your story. You never know who it might save.